Yeah, hello, and here I am. Welcome back to the grind. You never know if this camera is working or not. You gotta look up in that corner there to see if it's got a recording symbol on it. Anyway, this is the 924 Porsche. You can tell that right away, that red car. So I've brought it in and decided I'd do like work on the wheel alignment, which wasn't right. The camber angle on the wheels, on the front wheels were wrong. Camber angle on the back wheels were wrong. So they're right now on the front, and they're pretty damn close to right on the back. In fact, they're within specifications of the back. I was able to get the front wheels aligned nicely so that they're pointing straight down the road. But the back wheels were didn't work out quite as nicely. Now this car, it was in an accident or hit somewhere, and this was all crumpled up, and that side was all crumpled up. I've since fixed all that, and I had a few issues with the front end in previous episodes trying to get the what do you call that, the caster angle to be right, because things weren't right there. So I changed things in that suspension there to make that work. At the back here, it seems that I can't get the wheels are supposed to be towed in by zero. They're supposed to be straight, and you can't get that to happen. You can get this wheel on this side pretty close to straight, but not quite. But this wheel on this side, you can't get it more than like it's pointing that way out by a degree. And so I made the front wheel and the back, made the two back wheels the same. I got them both pointing 1 degree that way. So that makes it the car kind of dog legs down the road a little bit, but it feels good. It doesn't, I don't have any trouble, and I don't think it'll wear the tires off it that quickly. So, went out, got a full tank of gas in it, did a bunch of work on the fuel system, more work on the fuel system, because there's still dirt in the tank, and I was able to put a great big filter on it. If you watch for a while, you'll see what I did, and I think I've got, so the fuel will flow freely now, and I don't think I have to have worried about filters clogging anymore. Anyway, stick around, you'll see everything that happened, and make sure you like and subscribe, and do enjoy it. I sure did. Bye for now. Yep, okay, here I am. It's back with the 924. Now first, I'm going to put that up in the air and check out the fuel supply at the back, see if any of the filters are plugging up, and if that is the case, I'll remedy that. But first I got to clean up around in here. I started yesterday cleaning up, making more room on the shelves. Hey, see that one there? I got room for a couple of things. This one here, I've got room for a couple of things. Don't know what all that stuff is. If I don't know what it is, it's going away. And I just put it in this box here for now, and I'll put that on the shelf at the top over there in the other side. But for now, I got to start on it anyhow. Yeah, here I am back in it, and spent the last day and a half cleaning up in here. Look at that, nice and neat down there. Reasonably neat. Oh, don't look there yet. Someday we'll get to there. That box over there is just full of stuff that's going to go up in the long-term storage. And now I've got, these shelves are fairly clear, so I can put all my paint stuff up there in little cans of paint. Anyway, I think I'll go to work on this for a while. I'll find out what's going on with the fuel system, as usual. Thing here. Wait a minute until I get... It's a two-handed operation, and I only have one hand, right? Hang on, I'm just going to put you down here for a second. Whilst I unhook this. Well, that seems to be flowing well. I'm going to drain this tank and just see how that filter is right there, because that would be the first spot where it gets stuck, right? But for now, it seems to be lots of fuel flow there, and that's just on gravity. So anyhow, how do I turn it off now? With my teeth? I don't know. Let me get this right here. I have my finger in the way. Okay. Okay. There, I've drained all the tank, all the fuel that'll come so far, but it has to go up over the hill, so I'll undo this one now, pull it off, and see what comes out into, somehow I'll catch it in here, I hope. We'll just see what happens. That'll make, liable to make a mess, so anyhow, I'll show you what the results are, so that it, there was no residual below this line here, but there'll be fuel down in this part of it here. So I'll see what I can do about taking that out and not making too big a mess in there in that tank. But that's why I put this filter on here, this strainer. So I'll clean this off and clean out what I can inside here, because I'm pretty sure there's a little bit underneath there. But that's, you know, better than it was. And there's a little tiny bit of water. I see a bit of water down at the bottom of that. So I'm not a bit surprised by this result, because it was pretty yucky to start with, and then I cleaned it out and did electrolysis on it, and then I rinsed it out as well as I could, still in the winter time, right? And then I knew I'd be taking it apart again to do this to it. So anyhow, that's encouraging that it's catching all the yuck on that side of it. So a little bit of brake clean, and we'll clean that off and blow it out, and that'll be okay. Yeah, so now I don't know if you can see right up there, the fabric has broken away from the side of from the edge of the filter there, so it's letting unfiltered stuff through that hole right there. I don't know where that, I'm going to put a mark on it and see where it sits when it is closed, and then carry on from there. But there's I took the fuel and dumped it out of here into that yellow jug over there, which is a waste jug, and in here I can feel my finger. There's, you know, still some yuck there to come out, but really not as bad as it has been in the past. So slowly it's getting all the yuck settled out of that tank and into the bottom here, and that eventually, in fact, it's only just a tiny bit here, which I'll get cleaned out. I'll have to build myself a little spoon for cleaning in there. Anyway, that's what it looks like there. Yeah, there's the remainder of the stuff that was in the tank. Now I put this rag in and swished it around in there 3 or 4 times, and I'll mark this and see where that hold, if it's at the top, I'll be okay. If it's down below, I won't be okay. Anyway, I'm going to put it back together, and we'll run it until it starts making noise again, and I'll do it all again. I'll likely order a new one of these, although they're pretty expensive, those things. Yeah, so all back together here. That's where it clocks around to, I don't know, can you see that black mark on there? Yeah, that's where the little break in there is. So what I'll do is I'll order another one of these things. And we'll keep on fighting with it till it stops being a problem. But for now, I guess likely what had happened there is that it got plugged up, that screen got plugged, and then it, you know, it sucked itself away so that it would find a route in there. Anyway, we'll carry on. Yeah, there now. I've put the fuel back into it over there, and now I've got this, I've got my brake bleeder thing on here. I'm just going to do the front brakes once again, see if I can, I don't know if there's any air in them or not, but I'm just going to give them a little bit more of a bleed on the front. And then when I put it up here, I'm going to check, going up, going to check and see if the anything's leaking around the fuel there. About there is good. Light, need a light. Need a light, need a light, need a light. Where's my light? It was here a minute ago. There it is. Yeah, so there, that's all the yuck that came out of the tank, right? So there's still yuck in the tank, I'm sure. Right here is where that break in the seal is. So I'll get another one of these. What the hell, hey? I think they're $40 a pop or something. Maybe more than that, I don't know. Don't even remember. I think I was surprised at how expensive they were just for a piece of gauze paper, right? Otherwise, it seems to be okay here. That fuel filter there catches anything that this one here misses. So now I'll just go to the front here and leave these brakes off again once again. You've seen that lots of times, so I'll just tell you when I'm done. Yeah, well, take it for a little bit of a spin, see what happens. Like, charging good, oil pressure's good, around 800 or 900 RPM, half a tank of fuel, give or take. Temperature's down. See if I can set you up over here. Wait a minute, I'll just splay the legs out on that so that it... How's that? Yeah, see what happens. Brake feels good. I'll just go around the block. Block's about 5 miles, but it's a big block. is 2 bar when it's idling like that, when it's hot. The temperature's right at the halfway mark. Fuel gauge is down to there a bit, and all works okay. Even the speedometer, tachometer, whatever you, not tachometer, the thing that tells you how many miles you went on there, odometer works. So have a look out, see if anything's spewing oil or spewing gas or anything like that. It had lots of power. Making noise, but not bad noise. I think we're okay, and the brakes felt better. I had there was a little bit of air in that side, and a little bubble air on this side too, so that helped it out. So I'll shut it off, and that's it for the next trick is to take that dashboard out of it and pull the dashboard out and fix it up, which is a bit of a chore, but not that bad a chore. There's only like 4 bolts on the sides, a couple in the middle, and you have to take the instrument cluster out, stuff like that, but it comes apart reasonably easy. And while I'm at it, I'll fix the headlight wiring. So that runs really nice when it's getting fuel properly, and I imagine I'll have to do the whatever you call that, clean out that filter again. I'll order a new one of those things because it's not filtering just exactly as it should, I don't think. Anyway, good enough for now. Yeah, so yesterday I had the Envoy in here doing the wheel alignment on it, and it was fairly chunked out. Now this car here, I don't know how I did it, but see that wheel there is pointing out. This wheel here pointing straight, so I didn't do something right. Hey, I'll just get it all set up again and do it correctly. I'll have to put my level on here, 'cause that's fairly level there. That wheel's pointing fairly straight there. That wheel's pointing fairly out there, so we'll adjust this side. Well, I'll get that side straight, and then we'll adjust this side, or vice versa, something like that. About right on this wheel here. But to set the camber on this wheel here, it's 2 degrees. The close, like it should be about 0, and it's in 2 degrees. So that was from whenever this car got bent. I don't know. It's still bent. Now, one way you could do it is to pull this way, pull the top of this way. I don't think I like that idea. Another way to do it is pull the bottom of that in that way, which again, that's not a great idea. Something I'll think about this to get the proper angle on it, or I wonder if the eccentric bolt, I could make it so it moves a little bit more. Oh, I guess that means taking apart that front end bit, that knuckle. Oh well, we'll just I'll think about this. It's quitting time now, so time to think about it. Back on, whoops, back on the 924. Buster's here helping. Anyway, axle alignment specifications. The following specifications apply to a car at curb weight according to DIN 70020, car with a full fuel tank, spare wheel, and tools. But you know, it's close to that. So somehow this toe pressed with 33 pounds. Don't know what that means. Front axle toe pressed with 150 nanometers or 33 pounds. Don't know what that means. But the steering difference, what I really want here is the camber and the caster. So this is the 0 to 5 minutes, so basically straight for as far as the toe in goes. Camber, 20 minutes plus or minus, negative 20 minutes plus or minus 15 minutes. So that's basically straight up and down anyhow also. And then 10 minutes maximum distance between left and right. So what went on now, this one here, like it says point, and that 20 minutes turns into 0.33 of a, oh, I bet to bring some batteries out for my thing. Wonder where my thing is. Oh dear. Hang on, gotta find stuff. There. It's off the lift down here. And this side, like it's set now basically straight up and down 0.1 of a degree, which would make it about 5 minutes, eh? What's 0.1 times 60? Wait a second, I'll figure that out. Yeah, 0.1 times 60 is 6 minutes. Like that's the conversion to minutes from decimal, right? So 0.1 of a degree pointing outward is 6 minutes pointing out. Now it says minus 20 minutes plus or minus 15, so it's got to be the other way by 10 minutes or something, which is lots of adjustment in here for that. I can do that on this side. This side here, whoops, where's my thingamajigger, this thing. This side, which is the driver's side, it has 2.5 degrees, like the wheel's going that way, 2.5 degrees, and it should be going that way by 0.33 of a degree. So like that's, this car, it was hit on this side here, and it was on they put it on a rack to straighten it out, and they got it pretty straight, but the front steering has never, like since I've had it, I've had trouble getting it to be right. The caster angle was wrong, so I repaired it. If you remember, a long time ago, I repaired it by changing the position of the lower control arm. Put some light down there, right? Hang on. So I changed the position of the lower control arm, which is back over there. Now, how can I solve this problem? Well, there is an adjustment on it. Don't know if I'll get a light. Get more light. Get more light. Okay. So the adjustment on it is that bolt and that bolt. And this one here is on an eccentric circle thing. So what I might have to do is, I want this to come out this way more towards the top. It has to come out. So what I'm going to do is pull this out, see how far I have to move it, and then I'll cut this along the edge here down to about here, and then re-weld it with more space on it. We'll just see how that works out. Like there's the inner and outer there. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I'll see what I can come up with. I might have to cut a piece out and then put a piece in, but I'll do some measuring here and see if I can figure it out. Okay. I'll let you know what I come up with. Okay, here it is. So this one here, the most I can get it out this way is 6 minutes on the uphill side. Should be 6 minutes on the downhill side. But that's where I can get it to without seriously wrecking stuff in there. And I don't want to, like, I could cut that and make it come this way a bit, but I'm pretty close to being okay there. This side here, I'll bring it down to so it's 0, and that'll make it so they're within 10 minutes of each other, which is what the thing says. So it should be at minus 20 plus or minus 15. So I'll make it 0, which is 5 minutes off, and then that makes that within 10 minutes of the other side. And so that will be the way it is. Now I'll drive it for a while and see if it starts wearing tires off of it, but then I have to toe per wheel, front axle, plus or minus, plus 5 degrees. 0 degrees plus or minus 15, 5 to 15. So I'll just make them 0 or, you know, a half a millimeter in or something like that. Yeah, so by hook or by crook, they're both the same now. That's 0.3 of 18 minutes. In this one here is 3/10 of a degree, which is 18 minutes inward, and that's what it wants to be, 20 minutes in. So tighten them all up and they seem to be right. So I did change out the bolt that was holding it in there at the top because it was wouldn't allow it to go as far as I wanted it to go. So anyhow, that's, I got that in there good and tight. I'll put it up and I'll tighten them up, you know, put a, oh, what do you call that, a torque wrench on them before I finish all this. But first I'll do the got to put the wheels back on and then do the alignment for back to front, eh? Yeah, so here now, here's the bolts that you use to change the cambers. Those two right there, and on this side here, like, see the top one there has got that eccentric washer on it. That's how you adjust it. Now the other side was bent, or like the whole car is bent. So I took that eccentric washer out and I put a normal bolt in, and it would allow it to move just a slightly bit more that way, which gave me enough clearance to make it right. Otherwise it would be sitting at, you know, this tire here would be pushed out the wrong way. So that's good. I'm happy with that. That'll be fine, right? We'll see how it works out. Now I'll set up the back on the ground and start working on the actual alignment here. See if it'll look any better than it did yesterday to me. Yeah, so I've upgraded to these laser things. I've got 2 of them, one over there, one over here, and I got the car is squared off. It's got a little target back there to make sure I don't kick it or something, right? So it's on the target, and the car is squared off pretty good. Like the backside's out by about, you know, 1.5 millimeters. So I squared up this business here as well as I could, and it should. So now if I use these laser beams, this one here is too far pointed in. Like, I checked it with my, where'd my caliper go? I had it in my hand a minute ago. There it is. You've seen this before, but we'll see it again. So here, see where that little red light shows up on there? Right there. Yeah, you can see it. Okay, so that's 45 millimeters. And here at the front, right there, that's 50 millimeters. So this one here is pointing out by 5 millimeters. On the other side, careful not to, don't kick the equipment. Oops. There's the back side is there, right? And that's 656, right? And the front is here. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. That's 61. So they're both towed in by 4 or 5 millimeters. So that's about 2 screws out on each side. So I'll get this one straight, making sure that the wheel stays in the same position every time. I've got that level on the wheel there, just where I want it to be for driving. And so then I'll screw with the thing there, re-level the wheel, check the alignment. So I'll just do this side, get this side straight, then I'll do the other side and just keep going back and forth to the alignment of the wheel and the alignment there. Now the bolts underneath there, I'll put the car up in the air after again and show you what you have to do to do the tie rod ends. You just loosen the tie rod end jam nut, and then the tie rod itself will turn one way or the other. So in this case, we want them to turn. The tie rod is on the front of the wheel, in front of the wheel, so we want to turn to the lefty loosey, right? Righty tighty. So we want lefty loosey on the turn for that, and that'll bring it out. It takes about likely it'll be about 2 turns to get 4 millimeters out of it. We'll just see. Yeah, there, it's done. And so this wheel here is pointed inward, towed in 0.5 millimeter. Even though sometimes it doesn't look like it. It looks like it's pointing out, but I think that's the way the body of the car is. I don't know. This one here, the wheel is pointing out by 1/10 of a millimeter. So 0.4 of a millimeter toe in across the whole car, which is what it's supposed to be. And they look like they're straight up and down again, which is what they're supposed to be. So maybe I'll take it out for a spin and see, and I'll show you underneath here where those jam nuts are. So I'm not going to put it up on the lift again for a while. Right here. Oh, there. Can you see that? Right here. That's the jam nut that you loosen off. I don't know, am I pointing the right way? Hang on till I get underneath here where you can see what I'm doing. And the light won't fall over. There. Oh. There. There. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that stuff. Right here. That's the tie rod end right here, and the jam nut's right there. So you loosen that jam nut, and then turn this rod either out or in till you're happy with the result, and then that's good. The other thing that I do to make life easier is I just put a little piece of cardboard underneath the tire, and that makes it so that when you turn the wheel turn the steering wheel, it turns easily. Now we'll just check and make sure that, so those are all pointed in the right direction, right? Verified. Yeah, close as I can get them anyhow. And steering wheel is level. So we'll just take it out on the road and see what happens. Alignment in the front is great. Alignment in the back is reasonably good. I'm not too worried about it, except that the camber on the passenger side is right-ish, close to right. Camber on this side here is way out, like it's at an angle like that instead of being like that. So I'll have to address that somehow, or try to. I'll see what I can do about it. There are instructions. It's a 1979 or what year is this, 79? I think so. 79, and for anything past 1978, there's this business here. Before 1978, there's another method that will help a little bit if possible, but we'll see. See if I can find this adjustment like that. Loosen bolts between the spring plate and the diagonal arm flange and adjust specifications by turning the camber eccentric. Okay, well, let's see if we can do that. Point out, and this is the bolt underneath here that you have to loosen this side, right? That one maybe. Don't know if you have to loosen all three of those. And then turn it so this thing here has an eccentric on it to adjust it. Well, we'll just see what I can do. Okay, well, I have to take this part here off. That's the way it looks on the picture, so that's what I'll do. So anyway, I got this loosened off. You loosen off these two. I got the wheel off, right? Loosen off these two here, 1, 2, and loosen that one back a bit. So just so they're snug, take this thing here out, whatever you call that stabilizer thing. That comes off reasonably easy. This brake line gets in the way. But then it's got an eccentric thing. I don't know, can you see that right there? Yeah, you've got that eccentric thing right there that you turn on that, and that'll make this bevel or angle up and down. So I'll let it down. I'll put some weight on here. Where will I put the weight? Yeah, right on this. Looking the wrong way. Put some weight right on this, and then I'll also take that wheel off over there and do the same on that side, because that one there is definitely wrong. This one here might have been right. Don't know. Then I'll tighten them up and see what it reads. So you tighten up this one, and this one. This one's got the eccentric on it that you adjust back and forth with a 1/16 wrench, or a P37. I don't know what that is. Ah, well. Anyway, so I'll tighten those up and then check it out. And loosen it, tighten it, and loosen it, tighten it, and loosen it. Finally, I got them so they're set right. Now I have to torque them down to the right amount so that they're going to be solid forever, right? These bolts here, torsion bar to spring plate, I think it's called, this thing, and that's 65 pounds on foot-pounds, right? Okay. Yeah, they're same on this side. 1.0 with arrow pointing out, so that means it's towing in at the bottom. So that's good, the way it's supposed to be. And then so now I'll get the wheels back on. I'll put those stabilizer arm back on, and then get the wheels back on. And it's quitting time today. Anyhow, back to the drawing board. Now I've got the camber pretty close to right on here, 1 degree pointing inward, right? But the caster, no, caster angle's okay. Casters, I won't even attempt to do a change of the caster angle on it, because there isn't any back here. Caster's only for front. So the camber angle and the toe-in angle. So the toe-in, it's towing out this way by like 6 millimeters, which would be, you know, what's that? 6 is 36 minutes, half a degree out, and it should be straight. So it's got to turn in half of a degree. Same on the other side has got, like, I don't even remember how much is out there, but it's all interconnected with the camber angle. The same bolts make the change. So there's I'll show you on the picture here. Where is it? Oh dear, dear, dear. Right here. See this picture here, that's the brake drum on this, the passenger side of the right hand side. This hooks onto these two here hook onto the torsion bar, right? Up there. right there. And this one here is your adjustment for camber and caster. So that bolt there has an eccentric on it to go up and down and make the camber adjustment. These three here, that bolt, and that bolt, will allow it to move back and forth to make the toe-in adjustment. So you sort of have to do it all at once and hopefully get it right. So what I think I need to do is I need to put a tarp strap, or like a crickety crack thing, on the back of here, pull it forward at the same time I'm adjusting this, and that should bring it into alignment properly, I hope. We'll just give that a go anyhow, see what happens. Bolt here, which is on the back side of this, it's actually held in place with these things here, like that one. See that thing there? So this one here is held down tight. That'll keep the camber adjustment from moving. So you can loosen that, and that, and move that back and forth. So do the camber first, or do the camber, yeah, do the camber first and then do the adjustment this way next. So maybe I lucked out here. Maybe I'll be able to get it all right. We'll just see. So you see this, there's a Volkswagen special tool that goes in there that makes that move back and forth more easily, but I don't have it. And then this part here, I don't know if you can see back in behind there, but right down here, that's where that eccentric is, but it's being held at that position. The eccentric's being held at that position by that bolt back there, which is, you know, that's handy, eh? So I can go ahead and I can pull, I can loosen that one, and that one, and then I'll be able to adjust this back and forth that way without changing the eccentric position. One would think anyhow, but we'll just give that a go and see what happens. And just clamped on there, and that's across the flat of this. So this distance now, and I also have,
I don't know, can you see the red light? Look into the light, right? Up there is a laser beam.
And so I can measure here, and I can measure here, and that'll give it should be the same distance. That'll be a flat angle, which is what it's supposed to be. No toe in or no toe out. Then underneath here, I've got a, what do they call these things? A ratchet strap, and it's hooked onto the hole up there in the frame, and hooked onto this part of the oh, what do you call that? That's the mounting for the shock absorber, right? So now I'll unloosen that bolt, and that bolt. Maybe I'll bring some light around here so a guy can see, right? I'll loosen these three bolts. Then you see this, it's got some movement in there. It's allowed to come forward quite a bit. And we hope that it won't change the camber angle. But if it does change the camber angle, then I can leave this strap on there and start readjusting the camber angle a bit, which, you know, there we go, we're getting there. Yeah, so I had this, you know, all apart and adjusted up, and then it just wasn't doing it right. So then I put it all back together and just checked it, and yep, I made it worse. So like this is towing in by a degree now instead of towing out by a little bit. Don't know how that happened. What did I do to make that happen? Something's wrong somewhere, right? So I'll see what I can do here, but a little bit more work on it. Something's not just right. So I'll let you know what I figure out whenever I get it figured out. Well, there, now I've got it right. So it's straight this way. I haven't checked the camber yet, but I'll check that after a bit. Now the what I did, I was getting all confused. So I had pulled the adjustment that way all the way as far as I could, and of course that was the wrong way. So then I put it back up and I pulled it all back as far as I could this way, so that the axle, like when it was in far forward, it was pointing like that, right? And then as you pull it back, it straightens itself out to point like that. So that Now it's exactly right. I don't know how that's just blind luck. So sometimes blind luck is all you need. So here it is, like it should be like should be a 0 on it. So you see the little red line there on that side? I haven't changed anything. You see the little red line on that side, so it's exactly the same. So that's pointing straight up the car, near as I can tell. I could double check here and make sure that it hasn't moved any. There it is there. It may have moved a bit, but not enough to make a significant difference over that distance, I don't think. Oh yeah, it did move, so that's quite a bit moved. Okay, I'll have to readjust. And then check it again. Maybe it's not blind luck. Yeah, so it's still pointing in by, pretty close to ½ a degree, which is way too much. Well, whatever it is going to be. But I'm going to now put it up again, see if I can, like it was pointing in 2 degrees before or something big. So now I'm down to ½ a degree, so maybe I can get a bit more out of it to come back to be the right place. We'll just keep on working at it. Yeah, another day and more on the wheel alignment, right? So as you can see, I've got this pulled back, as far as it'll go. There's no more adjustment there. So that's as far as I can get the toe in to come back out. Now, I'm pretty sure it's all from when this car got hit. It was just a little bit crunched. So there's nothing there. It's as good as I can get it, I think. And I'll just put it down on the ground and then see what the toe in is on it. It might be down to 18 minutes or something when it's supposed to be 5 minutes at the most, I think. North America is toe in here is 28 minutes. Supposed to be 0 minutes plus or minus 10 minutes. So it's, what's that, 18 minutes past the allowable tolerance. Oh well, that's as close as I can get it. That's as much as it'll pull around. The camber on it, which is the angle pointing like inward, is supposed to be 1 degree plus or minus something. What is it? 1 degree plus or minus 1 degree plus or minus ½ a degree. And it's 1.3 or 1.4 degrees, which is well within tolerance. That's right. So I'm happy with the camber and less happy with the toe end. Closest I can get with that side. So I'll go and work on the other side and see if I can get that. So, and it says also that the maximum difference between the 2 toe ends from each side should be 10 minutes. I think that's what it says here. Yeah, maximum difference is 10 minutes. Right there it says so. So if I make the other side 18, towing in by 18, then they're both going to be like towing in by the same amount, and that should make the car drive straight-ish. I'll make it that way and just see what happens. Well, I'll see what I can do, because you never know what I'll have to do. Lined up with my, you can see the laser beam on the wall there maybe. Lined up with the laser. See where the laser beam is on here? Anyway, that this wheel is pointing inward. This wheel is pointing outward, pointing this way. This is a smaller number than that by about 1 degree. So I want to be able to pull this wheel forward. The other wheel I was trying to pull it back. This wheel I'm trying to pull it that way. We'll just see if we can make it any better. Stand on this stuff now. Here's, I don't know if you can see in there, but the adjustment, it's adjusted as far as it'll go that way. Still like 1 degree. What way is that pointing? Outward, I think. Yeah, 1 degree. This number here is bigger than that number, so it's pointing out by 1 degree. Now the other side, I've got it down to pointing that way by, let me see, half a degree, right? So I think the best thing I can do for myself is to, where does it say here? Alignment, maximum difference between left and right, 10 minutes. So the best thing I can do is to turn this one in, so it's in like 50 minutes, which would be, what, that's 6/5 is 80% of a degree, 8.8 of a degree in. That one there, I'll leave it at 1 degree and pointing out, and that way they're pointing the same way anyhow, and it'll make it so that it dog tracks down the road a little bit, but it won't tear off the tires quite as quickly, I don't think, or a little bit easier on all the, like, so when you're driving down the road, you just have to, the wheel will be turned a little bit. It's pointing that way back, so the wheel will be turned that way a bit to drive straight, which you won't, maybe won't notice, maybe will notice, but I don't know. That's oh, the poor car. I don't know when it got bent, but it got bent, and that's as close as I'll get it, unless I put it on a traction machine of some sort, which I don't know whether, for the amount of miles I'm going to put on it, don't think that's worth it. But anyhow, we'll just see how it feels after I do my fixing on it. Now, I did get the camber okay on the back wheels, so they're pointing like that slightly, and I'll get them pointing at least in the same direction. Now, whether that would be, so this, I thought I had been done with this, but now I'll have to move it forward a bit and get it pointing inward by, oh, whatever it takes. I'll get them both the same anyhow, more or less. The back wheels are pointing the same direction. I think I'm going to check it when I get it onto the ground. But while it's up there, I've been meaning to forever put these 12.07 millimeter grommets in the brake. I'll show you where. So these ones here are for adjusting the brake. These two are here for inspecting the brake. So I've got it, turn the light around here. This side here I put the grommets in, and they fit in there quite nicely. This side here I'll just put two in here, and that'll be good. Done deal. Yeah, so now I guess that's as good as I can get, because this wheel here is pointing 7 millimeters in that way. This wheel over here is pointing 7 millimeters out. So the car will have a slight dog leg to it. If you're following behind it, you'd see that the back end wheels are following on that side just slightly. So I don't think I'd ever want to go near a racetrack with this thing, but it'll likely be fine for going straight down the road. It'll just be a bit of a dog leg. Anyhow, that's as good as I can get it, I think. Like the back ones are within, you know, specifications as far as difference between the two of them. The front ones are straight, or as straight as I can get. The camber on all the wheels is close enough. I can't say it's perfect, but it's close enough, and I'll run it for a while and just see what happens now. Now the next thing I have to do is pull that dashboard out. Should I do that? Should I start that? Or should I take it for a little spin and see how it feels? Should take it for a little spin and see how it feels, because that's a reward. And it's pretty near quitting time, 5:05. So that's good enough for now. I'll go out for a spin and see what happens. Oh, there now. I've didn't torque those nuts on.
Wonder how this side's doing. They're all four there.
Oh dear. Well, I guess I have to phone up the tow company and get him to take me home. Oh well. Yeah. Wonder if I have a wrench in here that'll do that. Don't think I do.
No,
Yeah, there, it's back on. As usual, Gus came to the rescue. I'm only about a mile away from home, and Gus hopped in his car and came along with a wrench and a jack. So it's all on four wheels again. We'll see if we can get it home. And that'll be okay. Oh, there, it goes an awful lot better with the wheels on tight. I was wondering why I was feeling wobbly. It's pretty good now. Anyway, each have 3 bolts in them, so I'll have to get some more bolts. I did find 2 on the road. Maybe I'll find a couple more up the road here if I wasn't traveling so fast. Yeah, there. After yesterday's little disaster, right? Oh well, keep on learning from my mistakes, right? Yesterday's little disaster, I've got that back on. I found 2 of the bolts on the highway, and I had 1, so I'm only missing 2 now. Yeah.
So there's one missing right here on that hole.
And there's one missing on the other side over here.
One, two, three.
Yeah, that's right. And then I had to clean up one of the bolts, put it back in, but I've ordered some new ones from Amazon. It says they'll be here on Friday, and I'll just change them all with new bolts all the way around. That way it'll be a happy system, we hope. Then otherwise I think that's, what'll I do? Will I do more? I might just check into the fuel situation once again before, like the tank is fairly close to empty now, so it wouldn't take long to drain it, and check that filter once again, see how things are doing. Then if it's okay, I'll go fill it up at the service station, and that would be a good thing to do. This out again, right? And then I took the fuel filter out of here, which is one of those Evil Energy ones, which is a nice little fuel filter, but it did indeed, I did take it apart and it was full of yuck and guck. So that fuel filter there is done. Well, it still has some more life in it, but this one here, now I picked this up a while ago. It's for, you know, a boat or whatever, but it's not on the pressure side of stuff, so I'm going to use it to, it's got the sediment bowl at the bottom, and you can drain it without taking everything apart, and a good filter in there, plus I have a extra filter, which maybe I'll take a look at. Just hang on a minute. Yeah, so the filter is this middle part here, which the whole thing is just a twist on thing. So what I'll do, it's got intake, outlet, intake, outlet. I'll block these 2 I'll block, run the fuel in from that side, and I'm going to hang it where it's fairly well protected underneath here. This is the mounting for the, whatever you call that, the exhaust pipe, right? Exhaust muffler. Oh yeah. So I think I can get it to mount right on there, and that'll protect it from getting hit by anything. Then I'll run the hoses across on top here somewhere. One hose has to come from here and over. The other hose has to go back to here. So likely I'll figure that out. Anyway, then I'll be able to actually monitor how much dirt's coming out of that thing. And I will take out, whoops, where am I? Go back here again. I'll take this out of here and clip off that fabric stuff so that anything in there can run free. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, there now it's, that's a fuel filter, hey? I'll just see if I can get it to start working now. It's a little bit high, maybe, but once it starts pumping, it'll be all right. And it's got this thing here where you can just loosen that off, and that lets the air out of it, number 1, so I can get it started. So I'll let the car down, put the fuel back in the tank, then carry on. This seal in here wasn't very good. In fact, it still isn't very good. Still leaking a bit there, isn't it? Aye, maybe that seal up there is no good. No, the fuel hasn't even got that high up yet. Oh, now that seal wasn't sealing very well. Don't know why. Yeah, first thing that happened is it was leaking all over the place around this seal here. So I took this filter off, plus that off, and then checked out that seal. That seal had a wrinkle in it from when they installed it at the factory. Then you read the instructions that it says to oil those seals before you put them in. So I did that, and then it seems to be okay now. I did put a new seal in there. Don't think we're leaking anything anywhere. That's good. So, and it's full, so it should, we'll hope we'll pump some oil or some fuel up there. We'll just see what happens. See how it works. That's the next experiment. Yeah, so I cycled the key on and off a few times so that it pressured up the system. Seems that fuel is pumping through, and no leaks here now, and it looks pretty clean in there right now. We'll run it for a bit and see what happens. Yeah, there, it's running. You can hear it running. And fuel is definitely going through there. It cycles a lot of fuel through. Look at all that dirt right away there. Or maybe that dirt will stay down to the bottom of that settling thing. And I can get the dirt out of it. But this thing's quiet when, like, that thing's real quiet when it doesn't have to search for fuel, eh? As long as the fuel filter is okay. But I guess that's what I should have done a long time ago, is put that kind of a filter in there, because that lets all the yuck come through, and we'll hope to get most of it. Like get the big chunks down here. You can see a few big chunks coming through, and the rest will get caught in the filter. So that might clean out my tank. I guess I can safely fill up the tank with fuel and go from there. That's kind of cool. This thing here is starting to make a bit of noise now, like I don't know why, but maybe it's just, we'll just see how things work out. Starting to get warm now. So I'll let it run for a bit and check back at it. Yeah, it's still okay. Making a tiny bit of noise. You can hear that tiny bit of noise. This so the fuel system works like this. Pumps it up to the front of the car, and it goes through all the systems up there, but then it comes back this return line into the tank. So like all that, you can see how much fuel is moving, but all that isn't going into the engine. It's just going up to the front and then through the system and back again, and it captures enough. It keeps enough pressure up there to operate the thing. Look at this, there's something that I wouldn't have noticed before. That's rubbing. That's no good. I'll have to tie that over somehow. I wonder if the other side's rubbing too. Oh yeah, you can see where it was rubbing. I got tied there. I just tie it on here and that'll stop it from rubbing. Okay, need another tie wrap. Just so you know, so I made a little aluminum plate to go in up there, and then it lifts it up higher, so this is protected from anything that comes from underneath. I imagine I could back into something if I needed to, but that'll come later. Anyhow, I just put 2 bolts through that steel there and 2 bolts to hold it up above here, and this sits on the aluminum plate, and then that made it even for the hoses to come across here, and they won't rub up and down and get bad. And if this works out, and if I'm happy with it, I'll put steel lines in here we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so I'm back on the road. Everything seems to be okay. See, the steering wheel's got a bit of a tilt to it. I'll look and see if I can find any of the bolts that fell out of my wheels yesterday. I'll just go down to the church and back. Won't go too fast. Oh, slipped out of fourth gear. That happens. Don't know why that happens, but that's something on the list. I think it's fairly far down the list because I don't use fourth gear that much. Anyway, I'll report in when we get back and I'll take a look at that filter again. And filled it up, but it only shows a half on there. See how that works out later. And it seems to run along all right. It's got 98 miles on it since I started driving it, and everything feels good. So maybe I'll be a little bit happier with it now that it seems to run okay. Need all sorts of hands when you're going to shift gears and stuff. Anyway, that might be it for this video. I'll just well, no, not quite, because when I get home I'll check out the fuel filter and see how much yuck got in there, because when I filled it up, I'm pretty sure it'll shake around a bunch and shake a bunch more yuck down. So excuse me, we'll see how things work out. Anyway, a nice day for a drive, and it's pretty near supper time. And another thing I found out on this little bit of a trip was the emergency brake works, or the handbrake works just fine. I didn't want to shut it off at the service station, so I used the handbrake. Anyway, talk to you later. Yeah, there. That was likely a long enough drive. Sounds like the fuel pump is silent. That if anything was going to be getting hot, it would have got hot. All the wheels feel good. Oh, one more to check. Yeah, doesn't feel like anything was getting hot. Then we'll check out this, when I get a light, check out this fuel pump thing, or the fuel filter. There. Oh, there. Well, that was quite the adventure. Anyway, all the wheels stayed on this time. So I think I'll cut this one here. And what did we do? We got the wheel alignment on the front done right. Wheel alignment on the back, not as right. Might have finally solved some of the fuel filtering problems. We'll just see how it goes. At least I can see if that sediment bowl gets filled up. And that's about all. I still haven't done anything about the dashboard, but that's a pending thing. That might just leave this for a while because I've got the hankering to do some welding, so I think I'll, you see that little Hillman out there, I think I'll pull that in and do some cutting and pasting on it and see what it needs. That's just for something different. I've had enough of mechanical stuff and cleaning stuff and all that kind of stuff. Anyhow, this one here was fun, and I think I'm pretty well done with it. Well, never done with it. but it sure does run nice and it sure has lots of power, so I'm happy with it there. So make sure you like and subscribe, and come on back for more. There'll be more. So see you on the next one. Bye for now. Yeah, it might be August 4th. Don't know. I think so. I think it's August 4th. Anyway, a little bit dreary today. And might get a bit more rain later on. Rained overnight and seems to have broken the heat wave. Somebody's blocking the breach, hey? Just pull this back out of the way. And the big pink is still there. A little breeze blowing, but not bad. Anyway, there you are. Another day at Holland Cove.